Will anyone get their money back from Norton Motorcycles? Welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So in this video, I'm talking about Norton Motorcycles. As we know, have gone into administration. There's lots of rumours and speculations behind the scenes of what's gone on behind the scenes, I should say. And they're under current administration by BDO. And if you watch my other video, essentially the primary role for BDO, the administration, is to try and salvage the company, try and source another buyer, investor, and also try to get money for the creditors. Now, here is an interesting thing. The BDO, you may have heard in motorcycle press, released their creditors report on the 26th of March, just a few days ago. And they've basically itemized how much the company owes and how much the company is owed. So creditors is the money that the company owes to other people or other organizations. And debitors is the money that is owed from other people or other corporations. Now, the interesting thing here from Norton is actually how much of a difference there was between the creditors and the debitors, and then we can kind of see how much trouble this company really was in. Let's dig into it. Now, various motorcycle press here in the UK have tried to dig in deep into the creditors, how much money is actually owed out. And they've dug into the BDO creditors report, and they've identified three different types of creditors, and they are the secured creditors, the preferential creditors, and the unsecured creditors. Now, a lot of money, you would imagine, is owed. Now, we're not talking a measly few hundred thousand here. It actually runs into millions. Now, Metro Bank, who actually called in the administrators, were owed just over £4 million. That's £4.04 million for Norton Motorcycles. They were also owed £3.07 million from Stuart Garner's other business, the Donington Hall Estates Limited. So that means that the secured creditors were £7.11 million in total. That's, you know, a huge amount of money. And this is all bank loans and things like that. That's 7.1 million. Okay, so the next group is the preferential creditors, and these are the types of people who were employed with a company, that kind of thing. Now, when the company went into administration, there were 64 employees, but then some resigned, and that actually went down to 58 employees. Now, it says here that each individual employee is allowed to claim for wage arrears of a maximum at £800 per person. And that was at the time that BDO took the company into administration. So 58 employees at £800 each equates to £46,400. And that brings the total of secured creditors and preferential creditors to £7,156,400. So still a substantial amount of money. Then we have unsecured creditors, and this is where the bulk of the money actually comes in. So let's have a look at this. So unsecured creditors sit below the preferential creditor in the pecking order. And the types of unsecured creditors are things like the tax office, HMRC, customers and contractors. So there's lots of people involved here, from customers, from taxes, from other companies associated with the company, maybe services rendered to Norton Motorcycles. Anybody who's owed money will there be classed as an unsecured creditor. Now, the report says that the unsecured creditors is 6.23 3 million pounds, which is an amazing amount. However, they've also identified that the Norton's most recent accounts may be incomplete, and also they may contain omissions and factual inaccuracies. Indeed, since the company went into administration, they've received claims from creditors or would-be creditors in the amounts totaling $7,195,689. So that's a hell of a lot of money. Now, also stating that £3.3 million and change is listed, the amount of money paid to Norton by customers in the forms of deposits for motorcycles. So that's you've ordered a motorcycle, 3 million of that, you know, from lots of customers have been paid to Norton, and people haven't got their motorcycles. And that currently stands at 466 customers. So you've got 466 customers out there who have paid money into Norton, but they didn't receive their product. Okay, the next thing I really want you to understand here, because this is something that will break any biker's heart, I'm afraid to say. This is actually a quote here from the report, and it says, of that money, the 3.3 million from the 466 people who had placed deposits for motorcycle orders, these monies were not ring-fenced in a separate bank account, and therefore no funds are available to return to impacted customers from this source. That means there's no way any money is coming back to those customers. Now, it also goes on to say that the tax office is owed 695,000 in change, and it also says that the total to unsecured creditors overall equates to about 14,352,000 and change. It's a lot of money. Look, they're also saying here that shareholders will not be paid any money as well. They're going to lose their money as well. So we're also talking about the pension funds as well. 228 pension funds, a total minimum of 14 million. So the amount here outstanding to creditors by the company is £28,352,089. It's just unbelievable, isn't it? You know, this is the amount. Now, the debtors, this is the amount that Norton are owed by other companies, let's say. And you would think, well, possibly there's millions and millions of pounds owed to Norton. There's a cash flow from other companies that causes problem. Let's get into that. So, when the report was published, Norton was owed £860,000. Across, and it said from 57 debtors. Of those 57 debtors, 2 debtors alone own £798,000, and that's due to licensing agreements, you know, licensing to produce their motorcycles or their engines or copies or whatever it is in foreign shores. So that's got nothing to do with actual money for production costs. This is licensing arrangements. The company also had in the bank a sum of £15,000, just over £15,000 and £72 in a Santander account, and further $211,000 was in a Metro bank account. Now, Metro have already said that they'll be keeping that as well. Look, you know, it just goes on and on and on. You've basically got a whole litany of problems here, and it's a huge cash flow issue. If you watch my other video about the China deal, which purchased the 961 engine, or the intellectual property rights of 961 engine, you would imagine that things would have been trying to be sold off just to improve this cash flow. It just wasn't working. And obviously, government money was pumped in. There isn't really any kind of you know, indication here where that fits in. It doesn't give an indication where the money went, what the money was being spent on. So you know, when we kind of do a deep dig into this kind of thing for Norton, you've got to understand, well, yeah, people are owed this money, but where was the money going? Where was the money being spent? And I suppose that's the question. Now, BDO, they would be looking to get new investors, getting you another company to take over the Norton Motorcycles. But would they be responsible for paying the creditors? Would the owners of the 466 owners of motorcycles who have put their deposits in for new motorcycles, they're never likely to get their money back. In fact, the report kind of indicates that the chances of that, and they are the unsecured creditors. They're right at the bottom of the pecking order. You know, so the Metro Bank, the secured creditors, they're the ones who are going to get it first. Then the preferential creditors, and then obviously the unsecured creditors, and then anybody else who's kind of affiliated or embroiled in this mess somehow. Well, they're going to be right at the bottom. So unfortunately, it doesn't look good at all. If you have money in Norton, or you paid money into Norton, I think we can kind of all assume now as gospel, let's say, that money isn't going to be returned. Unfortunately, certainly no motorcycles will be returned. It's just a sad affair. The saga continues. More information will come out as well, I'm sure. But the question is, it's not this report that the BDO have so diligently produced. It's about the question that I would ask, and anybody would ask, and say, well, you know, okay, this has happened, money has been acquired, money has been lost somehow. Where is the money gone? Deals have been done with foreign corporations. Why? Deals have been done with government departments. Why? Where is this money gone? Where is the pressure from the government to try and sort out where their money was gone, or where their potential money was going? It does appear that a lot of people may have washed their hands of this and said, right, that's it, glad we're not involved in this. Or if we are involved, not a lot of people are coming to the front here and actually stating exactly what's gone on, especially Stuart Garner. And although there's lots of investigation going on about the pensions, and also about the way the company was run, no answers as yet. This is the only real answer that we've got so far from the financial chaos that the company was in. You know, a huge 28-1 pretty much of a deficit versus you know, a credit, as it were, that the company was in. And unfortunately, people who had invested their money, their hard-earned money, to get motorcycles, it looks as if they won't get that money back. And that is just shocking, shocking display from everybody. And my sincerest empathy with anybody, and sympathy with anybody who's involved in this. Shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened, you know. And anybody would be wanting answers, and I would want answers, and I can only give answers as I read them. But as I read them, even though this is an older report, and that's I would still ask the question. There's such a huge debt here. There's such a huge imbalance. What was going on? Where is this money being going? Where is it? Follow the money trail. Follow the paper trail. There's got to be an indication here of who knew, what happened to it, where is it gone, and why was it moved or lost in a certain way. There's got to be a reason. Anyway, I wish I could say I hope you enjoyed that, but I don't think you can. Please like, share, subscribe, leave those comments below, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. And if I have any more information about Norton Motorcycles and the saga behind the scenes, I'll bring it to you as soon as I can. Cheers now.
RevelatorAlf.